anchoring. Talk about anchoring, right? Because here we are, hey, Chris, I have this great idea. I'd love you to build me one of those animated shorts around this, around that. Up for another Emmy? Let's go.
Right.
So how much is it gonna, what's your fee? How do you charge?
Right. Yeah. So everybody remember this word anchoring, and I'll give you a little analogy to help you. Imagine yourself as a tiny little boat floating at the sea, and you found a great fishing spot. This is where all the fish are. And what happens is with the tide, it moves you away from your spot. And so what do? You drop an anchor. You drop an anchor, and the anchor holds you within a certain radius, right? So you're going to move around a little bit, but you're not going to go 300 feet away unless the tides are very strong and your anchor's not heavy enough. And that's what anchors do. It's a form of cognitive bias, cognitive of the brain, right? The way that you think, cognition. And it's a bias that we have, that we tend to rely too much on the first piece of information that we get. Let's put this in principle, or let's take the principle into practice here. If you talk to someone and you're talking about designing a commercial, let's just scale it down so it's a lot more relatable to everybody, okay? Let's just say it's a logo. I think everybody understands what a logo is, right? The client comes over to you and says, hey, we want a logo from you. We hear you're great, and we have a lot of money to spend on this. We have $1,000 to spend on a logo. And in your mind, you're like, wait a minute, that's not a lot of money. They just said $1,000. Now, adjust this number to wherever you are in the world. For some people, it will be a lot of money. But let's say in your mind, you're like, I was going to ask them for $6,000. They just told me that was a lot, and they're so happy to work with me, and they have $1,000. What's happening inside your mind now is you start to negotiate against yourself because the anchor is drawing you down. It is drawing you down. So you're sitting there thinking, I can't do it for $1,000, Mr. and Mrs. Client, but I can do it for like $3,000. They're going to be like, that's 3 times as much as we're willing to pay, Chris. And we get into negotiations. We might wind up with like $1,500 for the logo. And then we walk away with mixed emotions, Lauren. We're like, I got him up, but it's a lot lower than I would have asked. I wanted $7,000. Let's try this scenario out again. All right. Client comes to us. Hey, Chris, we love you. We think you do amazing logos. You're like, you know what? I'm so happy. I just want to let you know, just because I don't want to waste your time, for us to do a logo for you, it's going to be anywhere between $10,000 to like $7,000. I don't know enough about your business just yet, but I just want to let you know in case you have sticker shock. That same client was about to say $1,000 out of their mouth.
Right.
They hear $10,000 to $7,000. They're thinking, oh my God, this is embarrassing. I can't offer him $1,000.